Alright, so we need to make a decision. Because last time we delved into the depths, we were extremely close to winning. Mushroom died like right before he was about to kill Chaos, and Sneck died at the very beginning of the fight, which made the whole fight harder. So there is a chance that we go down at level 29 and we can survive. But I feel like I would like to at least get like one more level. Specifically, if we could get just like one more attack on Mushroom, so we can for sure kill him before he heals. I feel like that would be huge. So I think we try to get one more level, but I think what we do is we grind a little bit and then leave and then come back and then finish grinding so that we make sure that Mushroom gets attack on his level. Yo, thank you, Cylon. My worry, though, is that white mages probably get attack really rarely on their levels. So it might be a bit of a crapshoot to get attack. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, Cylon. Appreciate it, man. Also going Hoffa. Thanks, Cylon, man. Appreciate you. Somebody tell Retro that we're alive. It's a him problem. At least I hope it's a him problem. Blame Twitch. I did not do that. I would never blame Retro unless it was his fault. Which, to be fair, it's always his fault. Now, I wonder, I think the best thing to do would actually be, like, kill Mushroom so he gets less XP for a bit. But I don't know if we can kill Mushroom. Like, the enemies down here are too weak. We can't attack ourselves. So maybe like, maybe we just get XP for a bit and then leave. It's just annoying because leaving takes so long. Okay, maybe a mage could one-shot Mushroom for me. What are the chances? I think with the Protect Ring, it's very unlikely. Yeah, I think we're probably Probably unlikely with the protect ring. Oh, what if I did... What if I did this? Close your eyes. Wait, you guys, can you guys even see? I guess you can. In my OBS, I can't even like see this effect because I can't see every frame on the preview. So it just looks like nothing. We're gonna be here a minute. Apologies. It's not flashing for you, but occasionally goes white, yeah. That's what I see on my preview. That's probably what Twitch is picking up. The recording probably... Well, actually, I don't know, because I have it set to 30 FPS. Hold on a second. I'm curious. If I set it back to 60... Can you see it now? It looks like it's flashing, but a lot slower. I didn't know you couldn't get fights in here. I thought you could get fights on these squares, but... Yeah, my eyes will never be the same. Well, now the, well, I guess it is still a little bit, but... I can't decide if I rather the screen, like, jump a little bit at 60 FPS or be, like, stable at 30. I don't know which is a better viewing experience. Because, like, you see how the screen, like, dances a little bit? If I set it to 30, it doesn't do that anymore. But, like, doesn't the game run at 60? So, like, why does it need to be set to 30? Do I just need a better... I mean, I have a good upscaler, but... Maybe I need to... Oh, I healed Mushroom on accident. Dang it. I know that they have, like, a newer Tink now. I wonder if they did anything to prevent the flicker. I've had flicker with, like, every upscaler that I've ever used. Like, the OSSC, the Framemeister, and the Tink. I've had flicker on all of them. Especially with the NES. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's any real way around it. But setting it to 30 FPS does fix it. Perfect. Okay, Sneck got one shot. Oof. I'll have to look at the recording and see how it looks. The screen scroll doesn't look like worse on 30 FPS, does it? It's kind of hard to... It's hard for you guys to tell because you're looking at it through Twitch as well. So everything kind of looks the same. Kind of wish I had Mushroom alive. I don't know if I can one-shot this guy without Mushroom up. I think if I had used the Zeus, yeah, it would have one-shot. Alright, so we're just going to do a couple battles without him. That way he gets behind on XP. And then we can level up everyone else and then leave. Alright, let me see real quick. I'm just curious. Curious how this recording looks. Anyways, let's grind. We got no time to waste. Let's grind. So yeah, I don't know what the rate of attack up is for white mages, but I would imagine it's pretty terrible. So it might take us a good amount of time to get a level up with attack. It might even be impossible. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I think it's just random every level up, so... Alright, let's revive Mushroom now. Anyone know how to kill morning sickness in a pregnant woman? Because if I don't figure out, I'll be the one that's killed. Classic. Run. Well, couldn't you guys have done that for me when I wanted Mushroom to be dead? Great. Freaking sorcerers. Just tell her to calm down and stop doing that. Yeah, that'll work. Yo, that's genius. Bro, you gotta be kidding me. Why do these guys have to be here? Wow, they all ran away. What is this conversation? Unrelated, but why am I single? Why did Trev give, like, the best answer unironically? That's wild. I think you just... You just weather the storm. You'll both be better off for it at the end. She will appreciate all that you did for her afterwards. You just gotta weather the storm during. I actually had a friend tell me a story similar. His wife was going through, like, something incredibly traumatic, way worse than pregnancy. And, like, she was so horrible and mean to him during it, but then, like, afterwards had so much respect for him because he dealt with it, you know? Which isn't going to be the case for everyone, but... That is to say, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And that goes for everyone, male and female. Men go through rough stuff too and act poorly towards everyone else and then realize their mistake and respect people more for having to put up with them, you know? I think everyone goes through stuff like that. That's not always the case, though. Sometimes someone goes through something rough and then they're mean to everyone during it, and then afterwards they're like, what do you mean? I wasn't mean. And then you're like, well... Seasickness bracelets. What do those actually do? Do they have, like, are they, like, really tight? Do they, like, hit a pressure point or something in, like, your wrist? Or are they just voodoo magic? That makes sense. Should be leveling up somewhat soon. Probably still have a little ways to go. I think the best way to help with your wife's sickness is to talk about her on an internet forum. I think that I think that magically like does something and like solves it. Yeah. I think she'll see this and she'll be like, "Oh, like now I get it. That's me doing all that. Whoops." that's how Reddit is born. She'll be too angry to care about the nausea. True. Wait. Do you want me to like call her? Tell her all the things you're saying? This could work. It's like punching someone in the gut so they forget about their broken leg. This could work. By the way, all the Final Fantasy 1 playthrough goes on YouTube, just saying. Everything you're saying is permanently on the internet. If she didn't see it yet, she may one day. When this playthrough goes viral, she may see it. Let's all get a get well soon card and send it to Solstice's wife. Are you trying to get us all killed? What are you thinking? I think it is. I think it's. I think you're asking for trouble. Just send a congratulations / get well soon / whatever you want to hear card. The gift card to Coldstone always works. Anyways, how about them Yankees? Playing Final Fantasy Tactics, I miss the old job / class system and them using the Final Fantasy V dual job system. Wait, what do you mean by you miss the old class system? It's not different in the remake. Or is it different in the revamped version? I don't remember if that's one of the things they changed. Oh, you're saying now that you're playing tactics, you miss that type of thing in newer games? Yeah. Yes, sir. I hear you loud and clear. Yeah. Listen, I love Final Fantasy 16, okay, but it's just the easiest game to make fun of and pick on. But, like, the fact that Final Fantasy 16 doesn't have the party system, but, like, it has the Esper system, but the Esper system doesn't even, like, they had the chance to, like, make the Esper system kind of fit a class system, which I don't know if that would have been better or worse, to be honest, but, like, they could have made it to where, like, Sheba was a mage, and Ifrit was a warrior, and Odin was a dragoon, and, you know what I mean? Like, it could have fit that, like, better, but it really doesn't. And I don't know if the game would have been better or worse if they did that. I think the ability system is actually pretty great in 16, but because it lacks party members, it also lacks a class system of any kind, and it's hard to look at 16 and be like, yeah, this is a Final Fantasy, you know? But that's only the tip of the iceberg in terms of 16's problems. If you took out pretty much everything else and just watch the story, I think it feels like a Final Fantasy. You know, it's got crystals, it's got summons, not only summons, but summons are like the main deal. And it has a very character-driven story with very character-driven narratives and stuff. Like, there's so much to love about 16 in terms of its story and how it deals with its characters, and all of that really feels Final Fantasy. But as soon as you get out of the story, it all just falls apart. Like, no class system, no party system. Literally the worst RPG elements I've ever seen in a video game, Final Fantasy or not. The music is great, but other than, like, the battle theme, it feels less Final Fantasy and more like typical open world RPG type music, in my opinion. I think the boss themes are great, but it doesn't feel Final Fantasy. It doesn't have that hook. It doesn't have that, like, OG kind of style. It has more of a atmospheric style, similar to like a Elder Scrolls game or something, where everything's more like atmospheric. Okay, agility up, intelligence up, vitality up, that's good. Intelligence up, vitality up, luck up, that's good. Okay, we need to leave, like, right now. We need to leave right now without fighting anything else. But yeah, I'm a big 16 fan, honestly. I really loved 16. It's one of the worst Final Fantasies in terms of being a Final Fantasy. Horrible Final Fantasy game, great video game. Which I think is mostly what I said in my review. There's also a couple things that frustrate me, like how they did the difficulty system. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know why we can't run from this. Hopefully no one gets a level, but it shouldn't be much XP, so. And, you know, I very much agree with Dan when we had Dan on our show. and we talked about Final Fantasy 16, he said that, like, if they can take Final Fantasy 16 and make Final Fantasy 17 just a better version of it, if they can take Final Fantasy 16 and give it RPG mechanics, give it more of a Final Fantasy vibe, it could be like the best Final Fantasy. It could be genuinely one of the best games in the whole series. If they could take what made 16 great, but like turn it back into a Final Fantasy, it could be incredible. Are they going to do that? I don't know. I was convinced that Final Fantasy 17 was going to be Final Fantasy 16 again until E33 and Metaphor. And now I'm interested to see if Square is going to pivot and do something different. Oh my god. You've got to be kidding me. Please don't be dumb. Some very heavy tweaks, Retro. Some very heavy tweaks, but yeah. That was something that Dan said on our show, and I tend to agree with him. I mean, yeah, you're not going to make a Final Fantasy VII fan like Final Fantasy 17 more than Final Fantasy 7, but in terms of like a modern Final Fantasy and something that new people can... No, that sucks, dude. Dang it. There was no stopping that. How did he already go up a level 2? It's crazy. Well, not a single one of my guys got attack up, so I think it's probably just we're not going to get an attack up yet. We are level 30 now, though. Should we give it a go? How many levels do you think we need to go till we get another strength up? I think it's just so rare. So rare for white mages to get attack up. Let me see if I can get some information on how level ups work. Oh my god, this website is awful. The majority of stats for characters are class dependent. Stats can only be increased by leveling up. On level up, the character gains a bonus to HP equal to floor. The character gains a bonus to HP equal to floor, which is vitality divided by 4. The character's hit percent and magic defense are increased by amounts determined by the character's class. Advanced classes grow accuracy and magic defense at the same rate as their base class. The exception is the magic defense of the monk and master, where the master goes slower due to a programming error, of course. Each level has a set of guaranteed stats increase, including strong HP boosts, which are decided by the class of the character. For example, a warrior attaining level 2 will always gain a point in strength and a strong HP up. A warrior attaining level 3 will always gain a point in agility and a point in vitality. There are also levels with no guaranteed stat increases. Strong HP ups are an additional 20 to 25 HP on top of the usual HP increase amount. For each of the stats that were not guaranteed on level up, the character has a 1 in 4 chance of increasing those stats. So we have a 1 in 4 chance. Strong HP ups are not included and do not have this 1 in 4 chance. Strong HP ups only occur on the guaranteed set levels as determined by class. Where do I see guaranteed stat growth? Okay, White Mage. We're level 30 right now. Oh my god. Level 31 is a guaranteed strength up. Hot dog. Hot diggity dog. Level 31 is a guaranteed strength up. Last time we went through the final dungeon, we actually didn't go up a level. It was close. And since we just went up a level, it probably won't. Now, if we were to, like, grind maybe half our level and then go, we'd probably go up a level, but... we're definitely going to need to at least get some XP. My stance on ARPGs is established. Don't like them, don't want them, but Final Fantasy has always wanted to be action, so it's a lost cause. I'm glad you recognize that, because a lot of people just look at Final Fantasy and they're like, why did they give up on turn-based? They were supposed to be turn-based. Why have they forsaken turn-based? It's like, no, I mean, Final Fantasy was turn-based because it had to be, but very early on they established that they wanted Final Fantasy to be more action-based. That's why they created the ATB system. Now, did they want Final Fantasy to be frickin' Devil May Cry? Probably not, but I've never gotten the impression that Final Fantasy was always supposed to be a turn-based, class-based, D&D style RPG for the rest of time, you know? It was that because that's what they could make, and then pretty much every game since the original, they've tried to make it more and more action-y or just change the formula in some way. They've always been trying to change the formula. Final Fantasy was never supposed to be like a old-style RPG forever. And I don't think it ever gave that impression. I think people just played some of the old ones and just got that impression, but... yeah, they've never said that publicly either. They've never said, like, we're going to keep Final Fantasy a turn-based RPG forever because we love old RPGs. Like, they've never said that. They've always said that they want to revolutionize. Like, Final Fantasy has always been their series to, like, try new things and show off what they can do, you know? It's always been that for them. It's never been their safe zone. Which is cool, because, like, a lot of series will, like, look at Assassin's Creed, you know? It's like, that's, like, their safe game. No matter what crazy stuff they try with their other games, they can always come back and just do the same thing for Assassin's Creed again. And Final Fantasy's never been that. Final Fantasy's always been, let's go crazy and see what we can do, you know? Do you think this challenge is fun? Yeah. Surprisingly, yeah. I always thought that this challenge would be just an absolute terrible grind, but it was not. I mean, yes, at the end here we've had to do some grinding, but this was fun pretty much all the way through. Like, we could just barely win the boss fights pretty much all the way through, and we always had just enough resources to get through dungeons, and then we kind of have this final big challenge at the end. I was also afraid that once we got the items, it would just become easy, but because I didn't do the upgrade to the better mages, the final dungeon ended up being a huge task. And the final dungeon is difficult, and we have to get pretty lucky in order to beat it. So it's a pretty cool finale. So yeah, this challenge exceeded my expectations. I figured it would either be impossible at the start and then easy at the end, or just impossible all the way through, or just a mega grind, but it didn't end up being any of those things. It actually was a pretty well-balanced challenge. And it's been pretty fun all the way through, and you really had to know a lot about the game and make sure you grab everything, all the important stuff, and There's actually different The other thing too is I was afraid it was just going to be like blink spam the whole game or something, but there's a lot of different strategies for a lot of different enemies actually. Even in the final dungeon, there's some bosses we want to try to burst, and then other bosses that we want to try to get a setup. So, yeah, I'm very shocked at how great this challenge is, actually. I was definitely of the opinion that it was going to be, like, quote-unquote, not fun. Like it's fun either way, but, you know, I figured it was just going to lean on one specific strategy and either a bunch of grinding or a bunch of luck. But it's been way more balanced than I thought. And we had plenty of really close calls too, like getting out of dungeons where I was just barely about to run out of everything and barely got out and stuff. So yeah, it's been great. Been very impressed by this challenge. I tried this challenge like a million years ago, only for a few hours, and it was like I hit a wall pretty quickly and was like, wow, this is going to be awful. Yeah, I think Square really set themselves up for success making Final Fantasy something that can morph into what they need it to be, you know? Every other series eventually dies out. You have something like Uncharted, where it's like you can only make so many Indiana Jones games until it's all the same, and then you either have to do something... You either make the same game again, and everyone's just like, oh boy, another one. Or you do something crazy different, and then everyone's like, well, this isn't Uncharted. You know? And Uncharted's a bad example, because Uncharted is great. All 4 games are. But you know what I mean? Something like Assassin's Creed, right? You either make another Assassin's Creed, and then everyone's like, oh boy, another Assassin's Creed. Or you try something crazy different with Assassin's Creed, and then everyone's like, well, this doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed. This feels like you gave up on Assassin's Creed. But Final Fantasy doesn't have that problem, because it's always been that way. You always expect a different experience. Now, do I think that 16 went too far? Yes. 16 went too far. And the main problem is the fact that it's just not an RPG in the slightest. I was all for, and you can go back to my 16 playthrough, I was all for Devil May Cry Final Fantasy. I was in. I was like, let's go. I'm down for a Devil May Cry / Final Fantasy experience. But it's not a Devil May Cry Final Fantasy experience. It's a Devil May Cry experience. There's no RPG elements at all. And the RPG elements that they attempted are so shallow that it's laughable. It is genuinely hilarious to equip an equipment that gives you 2 HP on your 800 HP pool. That it's supposed to be an upgrade. Like, it's just laughable. So, yeah. Yes, they went too far. Luckily, the story and stuff makes up for it, because the story really does feel like a Final Fantasy story. Feels like Final Fantasy Game of Thrones, but it still feels like Final Fantasy. But yeah, it's too far. They need to reel it in. They need to reel it in for Final Fantasy 17 and make either a Devil May Cry Final Fantasy, but actually put Final Fantasy mechanics in it. Give me some party members, give me some classes, give me some deep RPG mechanics. Or they need to go back to ATB system or whatever. I think what they should do, and what they won't do, but what they should do, given how much turn-based is popping off right now, I think we need to go back to Final Fantasy X. I think we need a true turn-based game with turn-based mechanics of turn-based order and tier systems, and having tier 1 actions, tier 2 actions, tier 3 actions. have a party system with full swappability. Maybe add some parry mechanics like E33. Maybe add some dual systems like Chrono Trigger, where you can combine attacks with characters that are out. Add all these things that have been added to turn-based RPGs over the years and make another true turn-based RPG. I'd be okay with or without parries. I love the parry system in E33, but it does get, like, too much sometimes, and it kind of boils the game down to button presses instead of tactics sometimes. You can go into a fight with horrible tactics, but if you hit all the parries, you still win. But it kind of works for E33 because it's a shorter game. I think if you make a massive Final Fantasy experience and you let the entire game have, like, nothing but parries, then it could be oof. But maybe you just do some attacks that can be parried. You know? Do a Final Fantasy X system where you have tiers of actions that affect your ATB. You have a full class system and a full swap character system. And then you have, you know, sometimes a boss uses an attack that you can parry for bonus damage or whatever. Sometimes an enemy does an attack that you can dodge. But for the most part, it's just turn-based action. Maybe something like that could work. Maybe that would be annoying because, like, you'd have to pay attention all the time in case there's a parryable attack. Maybe they should be more, like, obvious when one's going to happen, so you don't have to hard focus on every attack when 90% of them aren't parryable. Maybe there's some kind of balance you could throw in there to make that work, but you could do an addition system as well, like Legend of Dragoon. There's many things you can do with a modern turn-based RPG. Or, I mean, genuinely, and I will stick with this, I think if you release Final Fantasy X exactly as it is right now, it works. You know what I mean? If you were to make a game that straight up copies Final Fantasy X's format and just has different characters and different classes, it could work. I think Final Fantasy X's combat system is completely timeless. It will work all the time. It will never go out of style. You give me a Final Fantasy X based system, but you do like a new level up system that's not the sphere grid. You do some customization systems that are more modern. It's gonna be a banger. What I would love to see is, like I said before, a Final Fantasy X system, but with like Chrono Trigger combo moves. So imagine you have Final Fantasy X, right? But if Tidus and Auron are both out, they can do like a double swing move. If Yuna and Lulu are out, they can do like a Holy Ultima. If Kamari and Yuna are out, Kamari can throw Yuna up into the air and she rains down a holy blast. I think that could be cool. If Tidus and Waka are out, they do some like crazy blitzball move. Or like both kick the blitzball at once or something. Or like Tidus smashes it up in the air and then Waka spikes it or something. I might be wrong, but I don't think companies are making games worse to work with the Switch 2. I think if a game is too strong for the Switch 2, they're just gonna cloud it instead. I don't think any company is like, oh man, now we gotta make our game worse because it's gotta be on the Switch 2. Honestly, I think these days developers care more about PC and then they just hope it works on console. Waka and Riku dual tech. Dude, you could do a cool like story. You could do like story implications with the dual tech where like Waka and Riku either don't have a dual tech for like the longest time and then at the end they like get one. Or at the beginning, Waka like throws the ball at Riku's head and she like ducks and then it hits the enemy or something. And then, then later you get an upgrade where they like actually work together. Riku jumps on like a machina and like shoots the ball up in the air with the machina and then Waka like spikes it. Yeah, for the most part, I think companies develop games for PC now and then have a team that makes the console port, and nowadays, it's not hard. Switch 2, it might be more difficult, but like getting a PC game to run on PS5 is quote-unquote easy. I know we're not developers, so we can't say for sure it's easy, but in relation to how it was, it's a lot easier. The PS5 is basically a juiced up / brick of a PC. It's a PC with none of the functionality of a PC. Brother, coding is easy. I can tell you from experience it's not. I tried to learn coding, I gave up 2 years in. Of course, we didn't have AI back then to write our code for us. Is anyone in coding school right now? How is that? Does everyone just go home and have AI write their code and then get A's on everything, or what? Do the teachers have to, like, watch you code so you don't use AI? You can tell pretty easily. There was a, I gotta remember what my wife said, because she told me something about AI, and it was, like, really hilarious. I forget what it was. Was it her that said it, or did I hear it somewhere? I heard, like, a comparison between... They were talking about teachers and having to deal with, like, their kids using AI on their homework. And they related it to something else, and it was such a good metaphor, but I can't remember what it was. But my wife said that there's a kid in her class that tried to use AI for his homework. And it was so blatantly obvious that, like, it was akin to, like, us playing a game made out of AI or something. You know what I mean? Like, the second you see it, you just know. You just know that it's AI. So I'd imagine it's the same thing for coding. But I know AI does help a lot with coding, but not just writing at all, but, like, you know, you can ask the AI, like, how do I make this happen? And then it can tell you, and then you can write the code yourself. Like, it does help a lot. But, yeah, I wish I remembered what she related it to, but at least as AI is right now, she could tell from 2 seconds of looking at the paper that it was written by AI. But I do wonder, you know, with AI being part of the tech world, like, using AI on your homework at school is obviously a terrible idea, but as it grows and becomes kind of part of the tech world, I wonder if there will be a time when, kind of like using a calculator on a math test, you know? Where using AI on a coding test would be something that would be allowed as like a help. Like, as long as you can get the program to do what it does, it doesn't matter how you get there. Similar to, as long as you can get the math problem to work, it doesn't matter how you get there. Did anyone go to school early enough to actually not be allowed to use calculators on their tests? I remember I couldn't use calculators on my tests in, like, middle school. But then once we got to high school, they were like, yeah, whatever. If you can program your graphing calculator to, like, do the problems for you, then you're smart enough to pass the test anyways. Was basically like my teacher's, the way my teacher put it. Like, if you can get your graphing calculator to solve the problem for you, then you win. Like, I don't need you to be able to do it yourself. And then there was the kid that wrote all the answers to the test on the back of, like, when you open up the calculator, like the shell of the calculator, he had like a piece of paper on the shell with all the answers on it. Immediately got caught. Technically, it's on the calculator. Yeah, you're out of here. I had a teacher that allowed us to use notes on the test, but we were limited to like a certain. So we could have like a 5x7 like cue card, and you could have like the front and the back of it, and anything you could fit on the card you could use on the test, right? And I remember everyone in the class, like, figuring out ways to get as much text onto this card as possible. Either writing, like, super small, or having, like, a whole system of, like, organization. Like, okay, here's this information, and then doing it, like, color-coded. Okay, I'll write, like, the formulas in green, and I'll write, like, the other information I need in this color, and they have it like bullet pointed or like numbers. You know, this section of the card is like the stuff for this type of question, this section of the card is type of. And I remember thinking back then, like, this teacher's an idiot. Like, this makes the test so easy. And then looking back on it now, we probably learned more about like organizing information and like actual skills that we're going to use in real life from doing those cards than we would have on the test. You know what I mean? Like, sure, maybe we didn't learn geometry formulas by heart, but we learned like how to organize information, how to quickly get information. We probably studied, like, learned the information more by writing it down so much. Like, you know what I mean? It was probably more helpful to us to learn that skill than it was the actual skill on the test. So, that teacher gets the last laugh, I guess. All the kids that grew up to do like data management or data input have that teacher to thank. Nice. There's our strength up. Okay, so should be like one more fight and Mushroom should get his level and then we're out of here. Out of here. Yeah, that tends to be the way I am. I even to this day I write down notes for everything, but I never actually access the notes. Like me writing down the note is how I remember. All the time I'll pick up a note and be like, oh yeah, I did that already. But it's because I wrote it down that I remembered to do it. Now I do take a lot of notes otherwise. Like I have a board over here that I write down all my ideas for later. I'm definitely a big note taker. Oh my god, Mushroom got strength up and nothing else. What a loser. Whatever. At least we got it. 24 strength now. Hopefully that helps. Yeah. Index cards worked pretty well for me as well, but mostly just writing stuff down. As much as I hated homework, doing homework was probably the best way for me to retain information, because I had to write it. I make less than a Costco manager with my PhD. And the Costco manager gets free Costco. You're cooked. It's free lifetime pass to Costco. What do we have? Alright. No! Go away, Groger. Beep 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 boo. Beep 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 boo. Ba 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 ba. Beep 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 bop. All right. Everything's looking good. All right, I'm gonna run to the bathroom, and then we're gonna give this our first attempt of the day.